G'day everyone, how you doing? It's the Kiwi, back with another video. And this video is going to be a carry-on from the previous video that I did about your life is your truth. This is going to slowly segue into videos on shadow work and stuff like that. But I wanted to get this video out of the way first and foremost because over the last couple of weeks I've had a number of conversations with people on YouTube, comment section, stuff like that, in regards to this belief that there is a separation of ego, soul, and the shadow. And there is no separation between those three beliefs because they're not separate entities. They are all part of the human soul, the energy that makes up the human body. To give a little bit of qualification to this subject in regards to my own personal experience with my own personal soul, my ego, and also my shadow. Over the years, well, first and foremost, most of you have most probably seen the video that I did about when I died. Outside of that, I've had a lot of other really interesting experiences. I've had multiple out-of-body experiences. Do not ask me how they happen. In all sincerity, I have no idea how they happen. They first started when I was about 5 years of age, and I've had a few of them over the years. The last one was November of 2016, and that was, quite frankly, one of the most profound experiences I've had outside of my near-death experience, because I got to actually witness myself lying on my bed. It was during the morning, so it was daylight, and I opened the veil to the other side and got to talk to not only my soul guides again, but dozens of souls. And that was an incredible experience because I got to ask them a number of questions, and we'll do a video about that in time. But every time I've had one of these experiences, I have always felt like me, sitting right here doing this video, okay? Outside of the beautiful feelings of peace, tranquility, all that sort of stuff, those feelings when you have an out-of-body experience aren't as strong as when you actually die and cross over, obviously. But you still have those feelings. They're wonderful, to say the least. Every time I've had one of these experiences, when I've been my pure soul energy, especially when you can see your meat suit literally lying on a bed like this in meditation, I've always felt like Lawrence. No different to me sitting here doing this video. The only difference is, like I said, just the beautiful feelings of love, peace, tranquility, all those beautiful feelings, right? So what that has taught me over the years is that we are our soul, okay? And I've mentioned this before in earlier videos about how our biology, who we are as a human being, ends up becoming our biography, which is our story. And that story is stored in our soul's energy body, okay? Because when our soul leaves our body to cross over, to go to the other side, our body dies, okay? So when that energy transitions over to the other side, it takes all the memories and all the experiences that happen here on this side, okay? Doesn't matter what the experiences are, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, whatever, okay? Well, the only way that we can have those experiences is via what? The ego. So there can't be any separation between the ego and the soul. So how's the ego formed then? It's a really good point, isn't it? The ego itself is formed slowly but surely after we're born into this world. think about it. When we are a baby, a newborn infant, and we're born into this world, we don't know anything. We can't walk, we can't talk, we can't go to potty by ourselves, we can't feed ourselves, we can't do anything in any way, shape, or form. We have to learn this stuff to be able to survive in this world, okay? So what happens is we start to become programmed because our soul's energy is literally like a supercomputer. This is the best way to put it. It has to become programmed to be able to operate, okay? And the power players at the top of the pile, they know all this stuff. Everything that I'm telling you, they know all this stuff intrinsically, and you're not taught any of this as a child, as a parent, especially as a parent. You're not taught about any of this stuff, and you'll understand the reasons why as I go through this. So what happens is the first thing that you learn is you learn to feed yourself, okay? You learn to say mama and dad. And over time, you learn to go to the toilet by yourself. You learn to sit on your own little potty. Then you get a little bit better at stuff and your vocabulary expands from mama and dad to no, and, food, dinner, please. And then as time goes, you start to develop your own personality. Now that personality, that is actually what your soul brings into the picture, okay? Because depending on the time that you were born, the country you were born, the position of the Earth and its rotation, the position of the Earth and its rotation around the solar system and all the other planets will dictate who and what you are as an individual, personality-wise, what your makeup is, all that sort of stuff. Because what happens is the soul is born into this world with a agreed-upon path that it's going to go down while it's here. We agree on the parents we're born into this world to. Everything that happens in our world has been pre-agreed upon. Now, how we become programmed and everything like that, that's where the free will sort of stuff comes in. We can kind of maneuver around, and it's like if you can imagine a pinball game and you're the pinball and you're getting smacked out there into the world, that's literally what it's about. So then you end up getting a certain amount of programming from your parents, your brothers and your sisters if you have any, your grandparents, your aunties, your uncles, and other individuals that you're around. This all starts to form the ego because you have to survive in this world. That's what the ego is about, okay? And that's why I've been trying to tell these people, it's like, look, without the ego, you're just going to end up becoming a blob, an adult blob rolling around on the floor where you can't go to potty by yourself, you can't feed yourself, you can't talk, you can't do anything. That's what happens when you have basically a brain-dead person, right? Well, that's what the ego is. The mind is what helps us navigate this world, okay? Now, as far as our emotions, our feelings, all that sort of stuff, that's all part of this, what you would call the soul body, okay? The energy field that makes up your body, because the soul's energy is what keeps all of this 100% running. The one thing that is unequivocally, scientifically proven is that when a human being dies, there is no more energy in the body. Whatever the energy is that keeps us going, that's the soul's energy. Okay, it's like the soul is our battery. So what happens is then you transition out into the big world. You start going to preschool, then school, high school, you get a degree, education, whatever it is. You know, again, it could be you're brought up in an abusive family. You've fallen off the rails, you get involved. It doesn't matter. A lot of this stuff that you're experiencing is actually a lot of it's part of a predestined path, because we're here to learn and grow. But all this stuff, every part of it, is a play between the ego and the soul's journey. Now, the shadow aspect of it, that is where the trauma is stored, and how the trauma ends up in our body. And the trauma first happens when we are born into this world, because we get cut off from the divine energy of God, the Creator. So that leaves a hole in our soul. Every human being is born with a hole in our soul. And depending on what happens to us as a child, how we're raised, how much love, how much neglect, abandonment, etc., will depend on how small that hole will get, if not completely heal, or get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then depending on how much trauma you experience as a child, the soul will become more and more fractured. But I'll talk about that in another video in the future. But my point is this: there is zero separation between the ego, the soul, the shadow, etc. Because when we die, we take all those experiences with us. We take all those feelings with us. We take everything with us. And that's what I said. When I was on the other side, and I've been on the other side so far once, and I've been out of my body multiple times, you always take these feelings and emotions with you. You take your ego with you, because your ego is still made up from the energy of the soul. Okay? And that's what I said. Your biology, what's happened in your body, becomes your biography. And that biography, that story of yours, is what goes with you over to the other side. Okay? So all those experiences, all that information, all that's happened to you is stored throughout the entire body. Every single aspect of it. It's not stored just in the mind. It's stored in the heart. It's stored in your organs. It's stored in every single part of your body. Now, what's really interesting is I was watching a video on a New Zealand gal who's a channeler now. And she was talking about, and this is another example of this separation. She was talking about how we are living multiple lives. There's multiple versions of ourselves in all these different dimensions. But what this lady is doing is she's channeling those people's past lives, because the soul's energy, even though we get a clean slate to live this life here, we get literally, it's like our memory of our past lives wiped. Because if we don't have our memories of our past lives wiped, we could be coming into the world as an infant, popping out of the mother's womb, going, "Thanks, Mum, appreciate it." Or if your past life was in Russia or China, you'd be talking in a foreign language, you'd be walking, you'd be able to feed yourself, cook your own meals, you'd be able to do everything. See my point? So the fact is, this individual is experiencing, downloading those people that she's channeling past lives, because it's absolutely impossible. And when I mean impossible, I mean unequivocally impossible for a soul to be split up like that. Because on the other side, in the heavenly realm, in the other side, everything is one. There is no separation. The reason why human beings are putting this separation into these categories, or separating these categories, is because we live in a world of duality. We live in a world where there's separation. That's what we get to experience here. We get to experience separating in a divorce, or separating from a loved one. We have separation between male and female. We have all these different elements of our lives where there is separation, there is distance. We get to experience all those feelings and emotions revolving around separation. Okay? So that's why when we are experiencing these things, like, the ego is separate to the soul. No, it's not. The ego is the soul. The soul is the ego. Again, like I said, depending on the programming. The shadow is a part of the soul. It's not something that's separate. The soul itself is the shadow. And it actually doesn't like being called the shadow because this is your soul. Right here. Everything about what you're experiencing right now, watching this video, is your soul experiencing watching this video. You, me, are our soul. It's pretty wild. Like, people are always wanting to have this spiritual experience. Okay? Oh, I want to leave my body. Oh, I want to cross over. I want to achieve a higher realm. You are already a spirit, a soul, from a completely different realm. You are actually a being from a completely different realm having a human experience. It's bloody incredible. When you like, for me, it blows my mind now. Ever since my life's come full circle and everything's clicked, I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking wild. Because I am my soul. You are your soul. There is no need for you to have a spiritual experience. Getting up in the morning, taking a shower, farting, doing the work that I do, driving to work, having your coffee, saying g'day to the person at the coffee shop, the grocery store, your fellow employees. Those are all interactions with other souls. Everybody is a soul having their own experience. So, like, these people that are wanting to have these spiritual experiences, it's insanity. It's no different to a fish swimming around in an ocean going, I need to find more water. Why do you need to find more water? Well, I want to experience being a fish. Well, you're already a fish. You're swimming around in the water. Yeah, but I'm not happy in this water. I want better water to swim around in. This water's a little salty. I want a little bit less salt in my water. I want to be in fresh, clean, unpolluted water. That's where I want to be. Well, you're already in fresh, clean, unpolluted water. You're a saltwater fish. If you swim in fresh water, you're not going to survive or live. But that's where I want to go. And that's the point. Another point is we can't survive in a full spiritual state like if we were on the other side, because we don't need to eat. We don't need to drink. We don't walk. We don't do any of the things that we do here. What I do right here, building this stuff that I build over here and the other experience that I have, these are all part of what my soul wants to do while living here. Sharing this knowledge is what my soul, one of the number one things, the number one thing, more than anything that is part of my soul's journey here, is to share the truth about this stuff, about how this stuff works. That's what I'm here for. But outside of that, this is what I've got to do right now. So I hope that's helped you in some way, shape, or form. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them below. But at the end of the day, your life is your truth. That's it in a nutshell. What you are doing right now is pretty much helping your soul to experience its journey here on whatever it needs to learn and whatever it needs to experience. Whatever you are doing, 99% guaranteed you're exactly where you need to be right now. The thing is, you just need to come to peace with that. That's what's changed in my life, because I've come to terms and I've come to a place of peace with what I need to be doing in my life. But this is all stuff for other videos. So, like I said, I hope this has helped. And until the next video, make it great, guys. Take care. God bless. Bye.